When I went to the Olympics, I was the third-ranked one-legged woman in the United States in alpine skiing. That was really important because they only took 3 one-legged women on the team. So after years of training and raising money and moving around the country, I just barely squeaked onto the team. But I was so excited. They didn't think I would beat my teammates, never mind anybody else, but I was just happy. This was my dream come true, to be on the Olympic team representing the United States of America. Now, my mother came with me to Innsbruck, Austria, and it was actually the first time she ever saw me in a ski race. We lived in San Diego, which is, if you're in the international audience, is in the southern end of California. We were actually 15 minutes from the Mexican border. It just doesn't snow there. So there were no ski races held there. We didn't have a lot of money, so it wasn't like she could follow me around. So when she came with me to Innsbruck, Austria, that was the first time she actually saw her little girl in a ski race. The other thing that I should probably explain is she was an English teacher, God rest her soul, and she didn't really understand sports. She was, to give you an example, she would see a jogger going down the street and say, can't they do something constructive with their energy? You know, she just didn't get it. So she had tolerated me taking time off from college and being a ski bum and waiting tables and all those things. She was kind of scratching her head. But then here we are in Innsbruck, Austria. All of the flags from around the world, all of the athletes, all of the hoopla and excitement. And when I came down the first run of the slalom race, the slalom is the really tight turns around the red and blue poles. When I got to the bottom and the times were posted, my time was #1 in the entire world. It was an upset. My mother got so excited. My brother literally rolled her in the snow to cool her off. It was like, you know, jogging I don't understand, but winning, yeah, I like this. But it takes 2 runs to actually win a medal, so I had to go back up to the top and wait my turn for the second run. And if you don't know ski racing, the second run is never the same course. The snow gets all chewed up, they have to set a new course. So I'm waiting my turn, other women are going down ahead, and they radio back up to the top that women are crashing. There's a dangerous icy spot on this course. So I'm standing at the top thinking, I'm in first place. I trained harder than other people. I trained on a glacier over summer. I had just outworked everybody else. I was the best slalom skier, and I had the chance at the gold, but no heroics. I didn't have to do anything crazy. If I could just stay standing and not crash, I could win the gold medal in the world. So my turn comes up, I get in the starting gate, and the race official counts down 3, 2, 1, go. I'm hitting the red and the blue poles. This is my moment. I get to where I can see the finish line, and that's when I fell. I thought I could taste the gold medal at that point, and it was so disappointing to go from #1 in the world to sitting in the snow. I just wanted to crawl away, not to have to face my mother, my sponsors, my teammates. I felt like I had let everybody down. But before my mind could even make a decision, my reflexes took over. My training was always to finish the race. I grabbed my equipment, I got over the finish line, and when the dust cleared and they posted the results, I was still in 3rd place. I won the bronze medal that I'm wearing. I got to stand on the winner's podium and have the US flag waving behind me, my mother crying in the snow. But it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't gotten up and gotten over the finish line, even when I didn't think I was winning, even when I didn't feel good about what I had done, I got up, got over the finish line. And it turned out all of the top women on one leg had had the same problem, went down, got up, and so I still was able to win. I was thinking about it later. I don't know if you ever do coulda, woulda, shoulda. And I was thinking I should have won. I was the best. I had trained so hard. I was the best slalom skier on one leg in the world. And the woman who beat me in that race, it wasn't that she didn't fall. She also fell. And by the way, that same woman went on and won in the giant slalom and the downhill. I won the bronze in the giant slalom. I was 7th in the downhill, and I was silver overall. So I was wearing the silver medal for being the 2nd fastest woman overall, and the first African American actually to win a Winter Olympic medal. But I wouldn't have won the bronze, I wouldn't have won the silver if I hadn't gotten up and gotten over the finish line. So this woman who beat me in the race where I fell, she also fell. So she didn't beat me by not falling. She beat me by getting up faster. I proved I was the fastest skier that year. She won the gold medal. She won the gold medal for being the quicker getter-upper. This is a story about resilience. Resilience is so important, and we often think of resilience as coming back from a hurricane or coming back from a divorce, but resilience is also important when you're at the top of your game and you're in the midst of competition. Resilience is the meta skill of the future. We're experiencing so much disruption and technology change. All of us are in the middle of needing to learn resilience as a skill. But resilience is really important to me personally, as well as in the middle of an Olympic ski race. That little girl that you see there, that was me on the first day that I came home from the hospital after my leg was amputated. Ladies, it's all about the shoes. That was my first pair of shoes that wasn't high-top white orthopedic shoes, and I had a big brace on the other leg that I used to drag around. I was so excited to have real shoes like other kids and to be able to feel more normal and look more normal. But when you think about the resilience that it takes to get from that place to being an international ski racer, physical resilience, obviously, I had to learn how to walk all over again. I had to struggle to learn how to walk with this artificial leg. And once I was in school, I was never going to get picked on teams for track or swimming. I was exempt for PE for years after I went through another surgery. Even the thought of training as an athlete was a crazy idea back then for somebody with one leg. Physical resilience, also mental resilience. You know, there were no role models for Black people in Winter Olympics. You just didn't see it. I lived in San Diego, California, where there's no snow. You know, where was I going to go practice? I joke around, though, and say, I have people say, it must be so hard to ski with one leg. But I didn't have any money. It's even harder to ski with no money. But the mental resilience, the imagination to think that I could be a ski racer and to go out and pursue that dream is crazy. But in addition to the physical resilience and the mental resilience, I needed spiritual and emotional resilience too. What you can't see in that picture, I was abused for many years as a child. My real father left before I was born. And my mother remarried my stepfather, who sexually abused myself from the age of 2 to the age of 7, and my sister as well. Somebody was commenting that that little girl looks so hopeful. And she's just coming back from 6 months in the hospital to a place where she's going to continue to be abused. I remember the 6 months so clearly. But most of first, second, and third grade, I can't remember it all. It's blocked out. So many of us have invisible wounds that we need to be resilient from. And it's easy to look at my legs and say, wow, that's a big challenge. But most of us have things that are even harder that you can't see. I've won Olympic medals, and I've dealt with the scars from sexual abuse. Just thinking about the Me Too movement and everything that's going on. Dealing with the emotional things that we have, whether you have substance abuse or addiction or other kinds of abuse in your family, those are hard things. We all need so much resilience in the world today. A lot of people ask me, how can I be more resilient like you? I've spent my whole life struggling to overcome all kinds of things, and I've drawn on different learnings and teachings and reading books and applied things and tried things and pulled out things that work. People want to know, how can I do that? How can my kids be more resilient in today's world? How can my team at work, how can I help them to withstand some of the ups and downs they have to deal with in the world today? So I've been doing a lot of research on micro-resilience. I coined the term micro-resilience in 2011, and I've been pulling together information from neuroscience, positive psychology, psychoneuroimmunology, I just like saying that, psychoneuroimmunology, physiology, all kinds of fields that have information on evidence-based ways we can make small adjustments that help us every day to be more resilient, hour by hour, whether you're at the top of your game or whether you're trying to get back into the game. To be able to do things that help you get through the slings and arrows of daily tough things that we're all dealing with. I travel around the country and around the world as a speaker, and I talk to people about how hard everyone is struggling. And I don't care whether your income is big or small, people are struggling with hard things in today's world, either making ends meet, or illness, or addiction, or changes at work, all kinds of things. And we're actually taking this work, my team at Blue Circle Leadership and I, taking this work to Thailand this year, and Japan, and Brazil, and Dubai. And this is so global, this pressure that we're under, struggling to be more resilient, not just withstanding what's happening to us, but being able to have the skill of being more resilient. So I want to give you a really practical way that you can immediately be more resilient. We've been sharing the idea, along with many other micro-resilience hacks, but the idea of a first aid kit for your attitude. A first aid kit for your attitude. Just like you have a little first aid kit at home or at work in case you get a bruise or a cut or a burn, you can be prepared in case you get a bruise or a cut or a burn to your attitude. When you're having a tough day, if you have an angry customer phone call or a coworker discussion that gets you upset and churning, or if you have a phone call from home that your elderly parent fell down and broke their hip, and I've had that call, if you have your budget cut and all the ramifications of what that's going to do and how hard you're going to have to work. We have things thrown at us every day. And I can't change what's thrown at you, but if I can give you hacks that help you to be less drained by it, you can continue on with the rest of your day. Instead of having something happen and you're so emotionally affected by it that you don't handle that situation well, and then it ripples out into other situations, you can push back. When your attitude takes a hit, you can push back and be stronger in the situation and in your life. So in your first aid kit, you can put pictures of family or loved ones, mementos from a vacation, songs that lift you up. In my first aid kit, I have a note from my mother that says, "Cherish yourself." And it's in her old-fashioned penmanship. And when I see it, it just helps put things in perspective. That something that would bother me and throw me off track, I can get back on track more quickly. That reminder from my mother. So you can put a first aid kit together. Don't just leave it out on your desk, because then you stop seeing it after a while. Put it away and take it out when you need it. There's so many people that this has made a difference for. I've talked to kids in 4th grade that can put together a first aid kit. You can help your kids to be stronger. Teams that do this for each other, that give each other items. You need this for your first aid kit. I can tell you're having a bad day, having a shared vocabulary around that. But I remember one woman who was a globe-trotting workaholic, and she was struggling, and she was getting bad leadership reviews. She was too hard on her people. And she started doing this, as well as some other micro-resilience techniques, and it really turned her around. It helped shift her energy, and her team felt better. She was getting better reviews from her team. But the greatest part, she started dating. She hadn't been dating in 4 years, and her energy shifted. She was better for other people, but also better for herself and her relationships. So life pushes on you, but you can push back. You can teach your kids to push back. You can teach your team to push back, and not only do better at work, but do better for yourself and in life. So share the idea of a first aid kit for your attitude and help everyone around you to be stronger. Thank you.